As we've seen, Carroll County has a passion for preservation.
So perhaps it's not surprising to learn of their passion to preserve this historic landmark, the Adams Mill in Cutler, Indiana.
This beautiful old structure was built by a man named John Adams, who was actually reputed to be related to our nation's second president. For more than 100 years, this grist mill was used to grind corn and wheat, sometimes for up to 24 hours at a time. Today, the building serves as a museum of Americana, so that those of us who don't know the finer points of pioneering and milling can better understand the genius of our forefathers. The past is indeed prologue and can perhaps help us to gain a better sense of our own abilities. Jill Scher, the current owner with her husband Mark, gives a great amount of time to the project, a labor of love indeed.
We really take for granted all the machinery that we have today. Back then, the pioneers didn't have the access we have, and so they had to be creative and use the elements around the area and the water, in this case, to run Adams Mill. John Adams walked from Lafayette to Kokomo trying to find the best spot to build his mill.
So what was he looking for?
In 1831, John Adams settled here looking for an oxbow, a natural bend in the creek, where the water flows back on itself. John Adams also built a dam across the creek, which would create a mill pond. Therefore, it would allow the water to run through the mill race, under the mill, and then back through the mill race back to the creek. So in a sense, he just borrowed the water to run his mill. He started with a sawmill in 1831, and in 1845, he built Adams Mill, a grist mill. It was specialized in making very fine cake flour, and it ran as a mill through the early 1950s. We talked about an oxbow on Wildcat Creek, and it provides nature's lazy river. You can put your inner tubes in at the dam or canoe, go around, come around across the bottoms, and go again and spend the whole day just going down the river. And you can rent tubes here.
Cool, that is totally tubular.
Every time a mill would go up in an area, it became the center of the community. People would share their stories, hear news of the day. The mill itself housed a post office on the second floor. On the third floor, for a year, it was a schoolroom while they built the local school. And it was also a Masonic lodge from 1861 to 1864 with the original podium still on the third floor.
In the neighborhood, you'll also find the beautifully restored Adams Mill covered bridge. To get a taste of the whole pioneer experience, visitors can rent primitive campsites, and 3 cabins are also available. The Schers and the nonprofit organization Adams Mill Inc. also provide a number of festivals, rendezvous, and programs to raise funds that will place the mill and its grounds into a public trust. No wonder it's been declared a National Historic Landmark. Thanks to the Scherers, Friends of Adams Mill, and the Adams Mill Incorporated for helping us to better understand our past. Jill, this will be great for our extended learning resources. I'm Kevin Gardner for Savor, Indiana.